Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Tech Talk session. I hope you all are doing well. Today, we are about to dive into an exciting discussion on how to advance yourself as a woman in tech. I'm your host, Sargam Tiwari from Tech Jobs Fair, and today we are joined with Ms. Limor Bergman Gross. Limor has worked in the tech industry for over 20 years. She knows firsthand what being a woman in a male dominated field is like. She is passionate about supporting women's career growth. She is also offers coaching on topics like career progression, negotiation, and leadership. Also, she conducts workshop on effective communication and building relationship in the workplace. So let's welcome Limor. Hi Limor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sargam, for having me today.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much for joining this and like giving you time to like audience as well. So yes, before moving forward to the topic, Limor, can you please share your journey, your background, so our audience can know a little bit more about you, what are you doing? So yes, please, over to you.
Happy to. So, hi everyone. I'm Limor. I'm currently based in Israel, and my career started as a software engineer. So, I started my career. I won't reveal when, so I won't age myself. But like many years ago, I started as a software engineer, and throughout my career, I always, I would say, worked mostly with men. And at some point, I realized I wanted to become a manager. So I transitioned into management, and I was a manager and then a director of engineering. Along the way, I built a family. I have 4 children and I'm married. And I always share that just to show other women that it's definitely possible to build your career in tech and also raise a family. And also, I moved to the US when all of my kids were very little, like literally babies and toddlers, and moved back here 4 years ago. And along the way, I found a passion to support other managers. Found out I really enjoyed, and I actually got a lot of positive feedback, and decided to follow my passion, really to support more women in the tech industry and just coach other women. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do that today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Limor, for sharing your background, and definitely we will, like discuss many more how we can, like how I think we have also invited like many women's and this event, and I hope everyone can join us and. If you have any questions, so then feel free to ask in the comments, and we will also try to cover. Moving forward, Limor, on the topic. So first of all, I have a question like, why is it important for women to, like actively promote themselves in the tech industry? As we are, like organizing events in 16 countries across the globe. And we have seen like definitely like nowadays, especially if I'm talking about Europe. So in Europe, like the ratio is, somewhere around like 60-40. I noticed in Vienna, in Berlin, or in Hungary as well, right? So what you suggest, like as a woman, like how why it is important for them to, like actively promote, and like how can they overcome the stereotypes and biases often exist, right? So what are your points on this?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, if really in Europe the statistics are 60% men, 40% women, this is incredible. That's not what I've seen based on my experience, both here in Israel and in the US. And
Okay.
also, another interesting factor to take into account is how many women are at the top. So it's not just overall the ratio between men and women in tech, but looking at other perspective. First of all, in technical roles, like in engineering, for example, the area where I come from, what's the ratio there, right? Because we know that, for example, in HR, there are women, predominantly women. So when you talk about the tech, You want to be specific about specific areas that are more male dominated. I was most of my career working as an only woman in a, in a team, with all men, or managing a team that was all male. And the statistic that I've seen firsthand was somewhere between 15 to 20%. The problems start when you start going to, management, executive roles. You see fewer and fewer women there. And there are
Mm.
statistics about it, right? I mean, I think around 7% or something like that women CEOs or C-suite. So definitely we don't have a lot of women there. So I guess to answer
Yeah.
your question, first of all, we don't have enough women in in the C-suite.
Yeah.
And why is that? There are multiple reasons. You mentioned biases. Biases is one, but also it's about how we as women perceive ourselves, how confident are we, and how much are we advocating for ourselves and proactively promoting ourselves. Because when I started, and a lot of women that I talked to, I thought that I just need to do a good job and, I will be recognized. And I wasn't really speaking up for what I wanted or, for whatever progression I wanted or, whatever promotion or raises. And it didn't work. So I realized that I really need to start being more proactive. And I think women in general feels less comfortable doing that. They feel if you advocate for yourself, it means you're bragging, and we feel less comfortable asking for things.
Yeah. True. If I compare from India, like currently I'm in India, and like you are correct. Like in especially if I talk in HR positions, so mainly women are working right on these positions, and it doesn't matter. It's about the tech industry, like it's all the other industries, right? But yes, in some positions, like the situation yeah in India is also different, right? So yes, I'm 100% like agree on that point. And but yes, on the other hand, like yeah, many majorly, like yes, it's a male dominated. So yes, definitely it's a very important for women to understand their role and understand their strength, right? How they can be strengthen yourself and strengthen themselves like from the others. And yeah, it's really interesting and important. So what are some practical strategies, to build the confidence, right? And self assurance, if I can say, when presenting themselves in a male dominated field like tech. So what do you suggest here?
Yeah, so there are multiple things you can do. Uh, First of all, really appreciate the things that you are doing. Like, I'll give an example. Just yesterday, I've been coaching a very, very young woman just starting out her engineering career. And she thought that she really needed to know everything and to get up to speed very quickly.
Mhm.
And she didn't realize all the great things she brings. And, even she felt like it was a matter of luck that she got into there in the first place. So, really kind of looking at where you're at and appreciating what you have done and where you're at. Like, for example, with that woman, well, she's there for a reason. It's not luck. Sometimes you are lucky, but it's not just about luck. She interviewed, she was qualified for the position. And also having realistic expectations of yourself. If you're just starting out, whether it's in your career or a new job or a new role, you cannot expect to master everything very quickly. You have to give yourself grace and appreciate what you do and all the good things you bring. And don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's one angle. The other angle is when you're working only with men or predominantly with men, a lot of women feel uncomfortable. First of all, it's a sense of belonging, right? When you work with men, it doesn't mean that they are bad people. I work with men and I enjoyed and great people, but there's some sense of why am I here? Am I good enough? Right? So find people who can support you. And those people can be either within your team, right? People you feel more comfortable with, but it could be outside. It could be external mentors or coaches. It could be support groups like different community of women. Like, for example, if you're an engineer, find a community of women in engineering and connect with other women so you can feel comfortable sharing the challenges that you have. I run a lot of group coaching and workshops only for women because women feel comfortable with other women and they feel like they belong. They have this sense of belonging. So
Yeah.
find your support group. This is super, super critical. And the third thing I would say is take care of your body and mind. So while working is great and career is great, we really have to be conscious about our well being and not overload ourselves too much, both like with work and emotionally. So find some time for yourself. I always encourage people in general like to pursue some physical activity because we stay all day long in front of a monitor. That's not healthy for us, not physically and not emotionally. So find some movement, do something that do good for you, and find opportunities to unwind because stress is really present not just for women but in today's work. I mean, we are all stressed all the time, so you have to
Yeah.
find also opportunities to distress.
Yes. At least 20 or 30-minute workout is must.
I personally a big proponent of any kind of physical of movement, let's put it that way. It doesn't have to be, I like to go to the gym, but it doesn't have to be a gym. You can just walk outside, you can do yoga, whatever suits you, doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
move your body and let yourself kind of relax and detach from the day to day.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's a very important to build the confidence and like detach yourself from the screen, because we are constantly like even though after COVID, many like companies when they are doing the work from home, they gave work from home. So definitely from work, if anybody is doing work from home, so their screen timing, like much increased, right? So maybe you're giving 7 hours or 8 hours, and after that definitely you'll have to like detach yourself from the screen and from the to go and some like in nature, any park or activities we can do, or also like in morning yoga or habit, this should be built, right? Because somehow it is giving you confidence, right? About to about to talk about to like like to boost your energy, right? So I think it's definitely a very practical strategy. And if I'm talking about here the communication, right? So you know like communication is also the key. So how anyone can like effectively communicate their achievements or skills, or I can say expertise here, without coming across as arrogant or boastful? So what are your suggestions here?
This is a wonderful question because so many women struggle with that. I don't know if only women, but many women struggle with self advocacy. They see that as arrogance, as being, just, I forgot the word, um, but it's not arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
It's advocating for yourself. So there are several strategies. So one question to ask yourself is how would your manager know what you're doing if you don't tell them? And I'll give you an example. An engineer, like in a group coaching I did, an engineer said, well, she was very proud. First of all, I asked women to share what they are proud of or any achievement. Silence. No one talked. So just again, appreciating yourself and looking back at your achievements. And then, she said, well, I finished whatever milestone it was, but I did all those things along the way. I was able to understand the requirements and to break that down into milestones and to seek help and do all of that independently and eventually deliver. And I asked her, okay, if you don't share that with your manager, what will they know? And she said, well, they'll probably know that I finished this milestone, but they will not appreciate all the work that went into that. And also, the other thing is that she realized that actually she's capable of taking even a bigger challenge because she proved that she can handle things independently. So ask yourself, like, how would your manager know what work went into it without you sharing it? They will see only the external stuff, right? I mean, the milestone achieved, like the code, the PR you submitted, but they will not appreciate all the things that maybe are less visible to them with collaboration, with, I don't know, understanding the requirements, investigation, all of that. So you really have to advocate for yourself. You have to explain them what you have done. And another strategy is to ask for feedback. This is like an easier path to share what you have done without sounding like arrogance. You can say, hey, I just finished this milestone and I would love to share with you, what I've done, but I want first to ask you, what do you think? What feedback do you have for me? So when you start this feedback conversation, first of all, you'll get feedback, which is valuable by itself, but also it's a kind of easier opportunity to share what you have done, to self-reflect and also reflect with your manager, like all the good things you've done and maybe things that you want to improve.
Mhm. Yeah, even though sometimes like they usually don't ask the feedback because they have fear like they will receive like more negative feedbacks as comparison to positive, right? So what your suggestion here, like either it should be like we should ask whether it should be either positive or negative, or I think this is because we have faced like somehow this is the situation over there. So what are your suggestions? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. I mean, eventually, you have to build your resilience. Now, it really depends on the manager. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a manager that was very, very critical, not just for me, but for others. And every conversation with that manager was a lot of complaints about what I didn't do and less appreciation. And that was draining. So if your manager is like that, well, that may not do you good. Ask all the time feedback because you will feel discouraged. But if your manager is kind of balancing that out, then you have to practice also getting critical feedback because that's how you grow. So take that as a stretch goal to practice getting feedback. And it can be not just from your manager, by the way, it can be from people around you that work with you because it will build your resilience and also build that's how you grow by improving, right? We're not perfect, we grow all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And another strategy you can do is just you send, like managers like to be up to date with what's going on, right? So a lot of times, what you can do, you can just send updates, whether it's on Slack or an email, like, hey, here is where I am. And while you send the updates, make sure to emphasize the things you have done in order to get there. Like, I had a meeting with this and this, and we reached an agreement. And, so it's not just about the bottom line, but kind of sharing what you have done. And maybe you'll feel more comfortable when you share it, like so called as a status update, rather than, oh, I'm bragging about what I've done.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think yes, these tips definitely help our viewers. So I can see we have got few comments as well. So yes, if anyone have any comment, like any story you like to share, then feel free to add in comments, and yeah, we'll cover it up while wrapping up the session. So yes, moving forward. Limor, if I talk about networking, because like we are organizing networking events, so I'll definitely talk with you on the networking part. So, from your suggestions, how important is networking and finding mentors for women in tech, and what are the effective ways to like build these relationships with them?
So I think in general, mentoring is. I wish I had more mentors throughout my career. I think mentorship is great for everyone, not just for women, but especially for women, because as I said, they feel maybe less equal to others and they feel less like they belong. So getting a mentor can really help you with your confidence, right?
Hmm.
And there are a lot of ways to get a mentor. It can be paid or free. There are a lot of organizations that offer free mentorship for women or at a very, very minimal cost. I volunteer, like for example, there's you mentioned Europe. So there is an organization called the Female Factor, which I'm
Yeah.
working with them for several years now, and I volunteer. And I actually took 3 women last kind of cohort, and it's a great privilege for me. So the cost is very, very minimal to join. And when you get an external mentor, you feel much more comfortable sharing everything and be vulnerable because you know that they don't know anything about your organization, they don't know the people you work with.
Mhm.
Networking is key to everyone, not just for women. Especially think about it. We sit at home, many of us, right, in front of a computer. We don't see people as we used to. Many companies work remote only or hybrid, so there are less and less opportunities to meet and connect. And I just talked yesterday with a woman who is looking for a job. Okay, she got let go, and I kind of talked to her about networking, and she said, "I wish I did that years back and build kind of my network. So now when I need support, I could reach out to people because we all know like when you need help, it doesn't mean just in job search. Your network is there to support you and likewise you can support others. So it's always important to build relationship with people in your industry. And how to do that? I mean, it's hard especially for introverts like myself. It's not easy. So virtually I find it easier to network virtually than in person, and definitely join network events like the ones tech job fairs are offering. And again, there are others, many communities offer those kind of virtual networks. The next step would be, I would say, to find local to find local communities and join local meetups and practice this muscle of going to a place where you don't know people and starting conversations. It's hard, I know. I mean, I practice that once in a while, and it's not easy for me, even after all those years. But you have to train those muscles because, to be honest, for my kids' generation, for example, those muscles are not that great, right? Because they're all on the computer all day, on the phone. Communication skills are important. We haven't changed as human beings. So you really need to train those muscles like you go to the gym and train like your real muscles. You have to train also the communication muscles and meet other people.
Mhm. True. Even though like with the same, we have also like organizing many networking meetups for HRs and founders and friends, their friends, right? So every month we are hosting in Berlin, and yes, we our first edition in Munich as well. We are also going to like host. So yeah, by collaborating with your growth solutions, the unleash people, and Evomind. And also like we are planning to host many networking meetups in London and other Europe locations as well. So yes, as you mentioned, like networking is, like somehow like we can get, not only it can help us in our communication, it also can help us in the career, right? Because who knows like who can help us in any meetup, right? So that's how like that's why with this mindset we are also organizing, and we are giving platform people to come and join hands, and let's understand each other. Yeah, so this is what a small part we are hosting this month.
Definitely, definitely. And for me, I'll tell you something. I mean, I found podcasting another great vehicle to network, although it doesn't sound like straightforward, but I have my own podcast, which I encourage everyone to listen. It's called From a Woman to a Leader, where it's a great opportunity for me to meet incredible women that I interview. And also, I am a guest at many podcasts. So, podcasting is another tool both
Yeah.
for personal branding, but also to meeting other people.
Yeah. Right. So, moving forward, Limor, if I talk about imposter syndrome, right? So, imposter syndrome is a common issue for women's in tech. And so, what do you think? Like, how can they recognize and overcome this feeling of, like self doubt and inadequacy, if I can say? So, what are your suggestions here?
Yeah, I think it goes back to kind of, first of all, awareness, right? I mean, when you have those self doubts, I mean, we have those voices in our hands. You are not good enough. You are not this. I cannot do this, whatever. I mean, whenever those negative thoughts, right? Just be
Mhm.
aware of them. I mean, awareness is really the first step. Be aware. And I like to use cognitive bias, like to try to kind of reframe the negative thoughts into a positive one. A lot of women that I work with, they say, I am not this, I don't know this, I cannot do this, I don't have experience in this. And then I ask them, okay, but what do you do? What do you know?
Yeah.
What do you have? So try to think about the positives, like the things that you already have versus the things you don't have. And like going back to the woman that I mentioned earlier, the new engineer, she felt obviously a lot of imposter syndrome, like I don't know anything. And I said, okay, are you expected to know everything? Because a lot of times we have the expectations we put on ourselves are too high. And the best way to you really work on your confidence is by celebrating each step of the way and getting support. Getting support both internally within your team, people you feel comfortable with, people who can help you, and get external support. For me, what helped a lot in my career was mentors and coaches that I got at different stages. Like when I became a manager for the first time, I, I felt so inconfident and I felt like I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to manage. And I had a mentor who really helped me with building my confidence in myself, with believing in myself, with trusting my instincts. So mentoring, going back to mentoring, it's really important.
Yes, yes, true, definitely. And yeah, I think mentorship is very like important. It's not about, yeah, as you mentioned, like when you joined as manager and you were completely like what to do and what next, right? Because it is, like it's something like when we join any new organization, right? So it happens most. And yes, these are very I think, yeah, your strategies are and these tips are very important and can be very helpful to uh, yeah, to help and finding the mentors, right? So thank you very much for sharing. And next is I want to talk with you on personal branding as well, because nowadays it's a very hot topic, right? So but in today's digital age, personal branding is crucial. So how can a women's in like they can create and maintain a strong online presence that showcase their expertise and achievements and what they have done so far. So what are your suggestions? Definitely LinkedIn is there, but apart from that, what they can do?
Yeah, so it's not just about, first of all, I'm a lot on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is an incredible tool,
Yeah.
not utilized properly by most people. The thing is, a lot of people think that LinkedIn is just about having your profile there and having a good profile. But this is just the beginning. So I think you can do a lot and you can build a strong brand by sharing content on LinkedIn, by having, now it's easier than ever. Think about it. You can start your own website and blog. You can share content on LinkedIn. You can share content on Medium. You can create your own podcast or be a guest at other podcasts. You can do lives. You can do so many things. Just share content. And I know it's intimidating and it's hard at the beginning. So if you feel uncomfortable, you can start by commenting to others. Like start following people that you appreciate, that you like what they post, that you relate with them, that are relevant to you and where you're at, and start commenting, adding a personal insight. And then you'll train that muscle of kind of putting yourself out there, and the brand that you build is also building your confidence. Another thing is finding speaking opportunities. I wish I did that more in my career. Like whether you are very, very technical or in leadership, there are plenty of opportunities to public speak, either virtually at virtual events or at in person events. And that can really boost your brand.
Yeah. So yes, definitely yes. Joining the events and whether it is virtual or physical, and yeah, definitely it will build the confidence and like personal branding. So, but sometimes like people thinks okay, what should I like share? Definitely there are multiple mediums out there, like as you mentioned, Medium, Blogger, or many other tool, right? Or maybe just with the help of WordPress we can create a website in 5 minutes, right? So but it's still, it's if it is about content, then nowadays we have Chat GPT, right? So with the use of Chat GPT we can, I mean, not only generate the content, but at least we can get ideas, right? What to share. And I think AI also being implemented in many tools, whether it is LinkedIn, and even though if you go to LinkedIn and go to the post sharing or something, so automatically like writing AI, with the help of AI they are suggesting, right? So I think nowadays with the help of AI it is very easy to build your personal brand, right? Through various mediums, and because you can get idea, right, through AI. And yeah, what's your point on this? What's your suggestion?
First of all, I mean, I'm with you that generative AI makes our life so much easier on every aspect, right? On every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
If you lack ideas, definitely you can try ChatGPT or others. There are even tools that are very specific to LinkedIn, like I think it's called Tapio. There's a tool called Tapio. It's a paid tool that
Okay.
you can subscribe to, and it will give you ideas to content. For me, I usually don't have a problem with that because I'm during my day-to-day work, I just get inspiration. It's endless, right? The ideas that I have. But if you run out of idea, you can definitely use generative AI. With regards to writing content, I don't let the AI write everything. Like I tell, write me a post about XYZ. Usually, what I do, I have a starting point. I start an idea and I use ChatGPT or other tools to help me make this idea better, to improve. I don't let it write everything from scratch because otherwise
Right.
it won't be me. And
Yeah.
another hack I have, a lot of times I record myself. I like a tool called Otter AI, OTTER AI. I just record myself. I get a transcript, and then I ask ChatGPT or Claude to help me with making this a better content piece. So
Oh,
that's kind of how I use it. I don't use it like write something out of thin air, rather than
great.
here is my main points and now help me make it better.
Nice. I'll definitely check it out. It's Otter AI, right? You
Yes,
mentioned.
other AI is a tool for transcription or for meeting summaries. But
Mm-hmm.
what I like about it, first of all, transcription is very good, and also you can record yourself for free. Like you have free number of whatever minutes per month, I think, and I just use it
Okay.
to record myself and get a transcript.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, Limor, for sharing this. And I believe many more can help. Like can yeah start their podcast with this, and it will definitely help them. So, Limor, moving forward, many of our audience, they are maybe they are from tech industry, and maybe they are at the stage where they are looking for job, or maybe somehow they are working, but like they want to maybe any appraisal period or something, right? They are currently. So if I'm talking about the salary negotiation part, right? I believe you can understand. So I'm sure my question is about the salary negotiation here. So women often, like face challenges when negotiating for higher salaries or promotions, right? But so what are some effective strategies from your experience they can use to advocate for themselves during these conversations?
Yeah, I mean, many women feel uncomfortable with money. So this is another thing that we need to work on. Feel comfortable talking about money, not just about money, about the conversation in general. First of all, know your worth. Know what you are. You should get paid. You can either use like I think in the US at least companies have to, at least at some states company have to expose the range of the salary, which helps, like, so you can look at different job posts and see what's the range, or you can just get information either by different tools or asking people in the industry, hey, what's kind of typical the typical salary. Just this week I had someone ask me, hey, what should I ask for coaching clients? So I feel comfortable talking about money because I don't see that as an evil, right? Because I used to kind of think that money is a bad thing, but it's not. I mean, so know your worth and feel comfortable asking your worth, because when you know your worth and you ask for it, you raise your value immediately. Think about it. If someone interviews for a position and they undersell themselves monetarily, they undersell themselves in general, right? They will be perceived as less worthy than someone who knows their worth and ask for it. And do it with a smile. I always like to, when I talk about negotiations, I like to talk about it as it's a win-win. It should be pleasant. It doesn't have to be a battlefield. And when you negotiate in a job offer, it's not just about the salary. Salary is just one piece. There's a lot that go into it. There's equity. It can be bonuses, vacation days, and 401k. I mean, there are a lot of things that goes into that, so you should be
Yeah.
aware of all the different things, because sometimes you need to be flexible with overall compensation package and not just be tied to just the salary piece.
Yeah. because many more companies, like they offers the health benefits and insurance for the families as well, right? So
Yeah.
definitely it's not only about the, like in hand what you are getting, but it's also the other benefits you are getting from the company. So this is also matters, and you can talk about that as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's relocation packages. Or if you're moving around, there's, as you said, the health insurance. There are a lot of times signs up bonus. There is equity. There's the health insurance. So there's a lot that goes into the compensation package you can talk about. Once I negotiated on the vacation days because that for me was very important, not just the salary, but how many days off I can take. Nowadays, I know a lot of companies do this so-called unlimited. I mean, flexible time off, which personally, I don't like as much. I know that it's kind of sound great, but I think that for employees it's less good because if we always feel uncomfortable taking days off,
Hmm.
but it is what it is. But at some companies that do have vacation days, you can try to negotiate. It doesn't always work, and if it doesn't work, you can ask, oh, maybe you can compensate me in a different way.
Yeah. Thank you, Limor. Thank you for sharing. I definitely, like agree, and these tips will definitely help our audience to in the salary negotiation. I'm because this question is like quite important for our audience. That's why I wanted to cover this. And but yes, back to the topic. We were talking on the, on women. So as successful women, right? They have set themselves in the industry, so they can be serve as a role models for others. So how can they use their platform to inspire and encourage the next generation of women in the industry? So what are your thoughts in this, and from your experience, if anything you can share?
So other than what we talked about, branding, right? Share your wisdom with the world. I always encourage women to mentor others, giving back. It's important piece of my life, and I think it helps you both with building your confidence, but also being a role model for others, for the next generation, and giving back and helping them advance. So help someone else, and you will not only become a role model for them, but also you will learn so much and improve your confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Thank you, Lumar. Your insights have been valuable, and thank you for sharing with us. And thank you for your active participation in today's session. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we'll need to bring our session to an end. But yes, that's all for today. So, if you would like to add anything from your side,
Just it's been a pleasure being here, Sargam, and I want to invite all the women out there. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Feel free to DM me, to follow me, to listen to my podcast. I'm here for you, and I'm happy always to network, to meet new incredible women, and to help.
yeah, thank you, Limor. So yes, as Limor mentioned, please visit profile and connect, send your connection request, and anytime if you face any challenges, then definitely you can reach out to Limor, and she's very cooperative, and she's always like do the response. So yes, everyone, feel free to reach out to Limor if you have any other questions, and you like to connect. And also quick update from my side as well. If you are interested in building your career in tech industry, then we have multiple upcoming events, so both physical and webinars as well. So for more details, you can check out our website techjobsphere.com and register for the event. So yes, I think that's all more I also wanted to include here. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And yeah, until next time, take care and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Lumar. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.